Ah, Tekken 8. How I love you. And yet I hate you. Alright, pull it back, pull it back. Before we get into the many controversies this year one of Tekken has been, let me talk about what I actually like about the game. I do like the gameplay. The gameplay's fun. I can't deny that. I know people have their problems with it, we'll get to that, but personally I have fun with it. Also, the game has a decent amount of content. Not as much as some previous games, and that is an issue, but it has more content than Tekken 7, so baby steps, I guess. Alright, positives over. Let's get over to some of the controversies. So, let's talk about the monetization. That's the number one thing that I hate about this game. Now, I have to make something clear because a lot of people get this wrong and misquote me on this. I'm not against monetization, I'm against the way it's done. Everything has to be done well. You know, if you're going to do something, do it right. I know games are expensive, they need to make money, but there's a way to do it. You can do it without being a total dick about it, which is what this game did. Unlike Street Fighter 6, that pretty much said right up front, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're monetizing, before the game even came out. Tekken did not do that. It came out, there was no monetization, everything was cool, and then like 1 month later, boom, without any warning, there it was. And people were rightfully pissed. And they review bombed the game, and rightfully so, because what else are we supposed to do? We can't really do anything else to get people to notice. But anyway, it didn't matter, you know, people still pay it. But yeah, there's the wrong way to do it. If you had to do it, which I guess they felt they need to, though I'd say if you're charging $70 with a season pass and stuff, you should not be monetizing your game like this, but if you have to do it right. And speaking of season passes and ultimate passes and all that stuff, let's get to that controversy. So the ultimate pass, you know, which costs like $100-something, didn't even include all the content that it should have. When Heihachi came out, his stage was a separate purchase. Why? When Lydia came out, she got her stage. When Clive came out, we got his stage. Why is Heihachi so special? Why did we have to pay separate for his stage? Especially since his stage is nothing special. You know, I mean, most of these stages aren't. This isn't like Dead or Alive, where the stages could be a character in and of itself, where there's a lot of interactables and all this other stuff. Most of these are just circles or squares or whatever with walls and stuff like that. Sure, you can break the ground or maybe the wall in some spaces, but you shouldn't be paying for any of these stages. They're not good enough. And of course, there was huge backlash to that, and the game got review bombed for a second time. And last I checked, it's been a while, but last I checked, it was at mostly negative reviews, which eventually got moved to mixed because they deleted some reviews from what I've heard. Which, if that is true, because it's alleged, you know, if that's true, that's a really bad look. I mean, they don't remove bad reviews for other games. Why is Tekken getting special treatment? But anyway, yeah, they should not have charged for a stage at all. It was just stupid. And of course, after the backlash, did they change anything? Did they make it free for everybody who bought the Ultimate Pass? No, of course not. What are you, crazy? No, they just gave everybody a small little bit of the in-game currency because that makes up for it. Anyway, continuing on with the DLC stuff, let's talk about the Season Pass characters. People have a lot of problems with these, and I do too, unfortunately. Okay, so first off, Eddie. I'm not a huge fan of a character like Eddie, who has been pretty much free in every game he's been in, to now be DLC. Not to mention they announced him so quickly. I'm pretty sure he was ready to go, or at least very close, but they had to hold him back for DLC because, you know, they got to get people to buy it. They got to keep fan favorite characters, you know, behind the Season Pass. Every fighting game does this, and I don't like it. They're going to do the same thing with Anna, I'm sure. She was DLC in the last game too, which I don't like, having to pay twice for the same character. And speaking of that, that moves us on to Lydia, who was the last DLC character for Tekken 7, and now the second in this game, which feels really wrong, because I felt like we just paid for her. You know, she was the last character here, now one of the first ones here. Like, I don't know. I have nothing against these characters as characters. They're all fun, but I don't know. It doesn't... It's pushing all my personal buttons, you know? It feels like this Season Pass was specifically made to piss me off, you know? Even though I know that wasn't their intention. Anyway, then we got Heihachi. I already talked about the controversy with his stage, don't need to go over that. But, boy, way to make your last game's story completely pointless. Street Fighter 6 did this too with Bison, but at least they waited a season. They couldn't even wait one season for Heihachi. I mean, we all knew he was coming back, but couldn't you have waited a little bit, you know? One game like they did with Kazuya, with Tekken 3, he wasn't there, but he came back in Tekken 4, and that was actually a big deal. Because, you know, like they say, I can't miss you if you don't leave. So we didn't even get time to miss Heihachi, or M. Bison for that matter. Man, fighting game story modes really are pointless, aren't they? They're probably going to retcon a lot of stuff in this game story when Tekken 9 comes out, because they never know what direction they're going to go in. They don't plan these things out that far ahead. So yeah, Heihachi, great to see him back and everything, but I really wish they would have waited. Or hey, here's a bold idea, actually stick to your story. Kill him off. Give a new antagonist a chance. I mean, they introduced Reina, but she's completely pointless now that Heihachi's back. And it's the same thing with Street Fighter. Who was the new villain they introduced? M. Bison's accountant guy. I don't even know his name. He's so irrelevant now because Bison's back. I've completely forgotten his name because he's so irrelevant now. But you know who I'm talking about. You get my point. These new antagonists are just always so pointless because they always bring the old one back. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah. So the final DLC character, Clive. Now we obviously should have seen this coming. Noctis was a big success in the last game, so why not just do it again? I know everyone wanted Tifa and stuff. I guess I probably would have preferred that too, but let's be honest, Final Fantasy VII does not need any more promotion. And this latest Final Fantasy could have used all it could have gotten because a lot of people didn't like it, didn't sell as well as Square Enix wanted. But then again, they have really high expectations. Nothing sells good enough for them. But yeah, so from a business standpoint, I get it. And that kind of sums up everything in Tekken 8. Everything was a business decision. It wasn't for the good of the game. They had in monetization and did it without telling everybody so they could avoid it in the reviews because that was a business decision. They had these characters like Eddie and Heihachi come back and be DLC instead of part of the base roster because business. They wanted to sell their season passes. They added Clive because business. It's not what anyone wanted, but business. It's the same thing with Negan in Tekken 7. Like, nobody was asking for a character from The Walking Dead, but it was big at the time, so business. And I don't think, well, that is, important. You want your game to make money. There needs to be a balance between the business and your fan base, because the fan base is not happy with Tekken right now. Like I said, the reviews are still mixed on Steam, I believe, last I checked. And there's been a lot of controversies, a lot of them self-inflicted. Like, yeah, the whole gameplay thing with a lot of people being annoyed at the gameplay with the new mechanics and stuff. I don't care about that personally because I don't play competitively, but I will say watching these clips on Twitter with people doing these combos that take like 20 seconds, that must be annoying. It's like, well, I guess I'm not playing for the next 20 seconds or whatever. It's not as bad as Marvel vs. Capcom where you get touched once and you're dead and you really don't play the game. But yeah, it is one of those things where fighting games are getting to a point where it's like all these big combos, they're cool looking and very flashy, but it's like not the most fun thing to play, I'm pretty sure. That's why I'm glad I only play casually and I don't play online, because I probably wouldn't anyway. I would not want to experience that every time I get online. That's kind of why I've really been enjoying Virtua Fighter as of late. Like, yeah, you can get hit with a combo that'll take away half your health, just like every other fighting game in the world, but at least half of your health will be gone in like 2 seconds and you can get back up and play again. The combos are not very long, but they are very damaging. Yeah, fights in Virtua Fighter do not take long, I'm starting to realize. But yeah, so that's my opinions on a lot of the controversies going on with Tekken. Hopefully, whatever Season 2 brings, it gets better. Maybe the character choice will be better. I would love to say that they would tone down the monetization, but they're not. If anything, it's going to get worse. It seems like every fighting game these days has some kind of monetization problem. Even if they are upfront about it, like Street Fighter 6, it's still... I got to do a video on the state of Street Fighter 6 too. I'm bringing it up so much. But anyway, what are your guys' opinion on the state of Tekken 1 year later? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.